Imagine your body as a city at night. Lights should gently dim, and streets should grow quiet. But in metabolic syndrome, that city never really sleeps. Blood sugar sirens keep blaring, inflammatory fires smolder, and your immune system stands confused at every corner. Today, we will gently walk through this restless city together and learn how to calm it using ideas inspired by the immunity code. Please remember, any change in diet, exercise, or medication should be discussed with your physician. Perhaps you have tried diets, counted calories, and forced yourself through exercise only to see your weight and blood tests barely change. It can feel unfair and even hopeless. The immunity code suggests a different way to see this. You are not failing. An invisible program inside you is simply stronger than pure willpower. Like a phone with hidden apps draining the battery, your body has background systems, immunity, hormones, and gut microbes, quietly deciding what happens with every bite you eat. Metabolic syndrome is not just a high number on a lab report. It is a pattern. A larger waistline, higher blood pressure, abnormal blood sugar, unhealthy cholesterol, and triglycerides. Together, these are like a red flag your body raises, whispering, "I am overwhelmed." Science tells us this cluster dramatically increases the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, but it is also an opportunity, a clear signal that it is time to gently renegotiate how your body handles energy, stress, and inflammation, step by patient step. Traditional advice often treats your body like a simple machine. Eat less, move more, problem solved. The immunity code invites us to view the body more like a complex computer running millions of lines of code. Your immune system, gut microbes, and fat cells constantly exchange data. Food is not only fuel, it is also information. Each meal is like a software update. Some updates slow your system and cause crashes, others quietly repair hidden bugs. The question becomes, which code are you installing every day? When we hear immunity, we often think only of colds and infections. But your immune system also deeply shapes how your body stores fat, responds to sugar, and ages over time. In metabolic syndrome, immune cells inside fat tissue can become overactive, releasing inflammatory signals like constant background noise. This noise interferes with insulin, the hormone that helps sugar enter cells. Imagine trying to hold a calm conversation in a room full of shouting voices. That is what your metabolism experiences every day. It is easy to hate body fat, to see it only as extra weight around the waist. Yet science now views fat as a secret organ, active, talkative, and powerful. Fat cells release hormones and immune signals that can either protect you or quietly damage you. When they grow too large, they become stressed and start sending distress flares through the body. The immunity code suggests that learning to calm and shrink these stressed cells, not just slash calories, may be the key to unlocking healthier metabolism. Think of a morning that began with unusual heaviness. Your belt felt tight. Climbing stairs left you winded. The mirror showed a face more tired than you felt inside. Perhaps your doctor mentioned pre-diabetes, high triglycerides, or borderline blood pressure. These words can land like a verdict. But what if instead they were an invitation to become curious about your own biology, to treat your body not as an enemy, but as a complex friend who is finally asking for a different kind of conversation and care? If your body were a smartphone, metabolic syndrome would be the spinning wheel that appears when everything slows down. The immunity code points to the body's operating system, the rules and priorities built into your immune system, gut, and hormones. When these systems become overloaded with constant eating, ultra-processed foods, and chronic stress, they update themselves to a new normal, one that protects you short-term but harms you long-term. The goal is not to fight your body, but to teach this operating system a calmer, smarter way to run. Deep in your intestines lies an invisible forest of microbes, bacteria, fungi, and other tiny organisms collectively called the gut microbiome. The immunity code treats this forest as command central. These microbes help digest food, train immune cells, and produce chemicals that influence appetite and blood sugar. In metabolic syndrome, this forest often becomes unbalanced, with species that promote inflammation and fat storage outgrowing those that support calm and resilience. Restoring this forest is like replanting the soil of your entire metabolism. We often learn that a calorie is a calorie, but biology is more personal than that. To your gut microbes, each food is a different message. Fiber-rich vegetables may whisper, "Grow the species that calm inflammation." Sugary drinks shout, "Store energy now, prepare for famine." Fats, proteins, and plant chemicals all send unique signals to your immune system. The immunity code encourages us to ask, with each meal, not only how much am I eating, but also what message am I sending to my internal ecosystem today. After a sugary or refined meal, blood sugar can shoot up like a storm surge. For a while, you may feel energy, but inside, sugar molecules begin to stick to proteins, a process called glycation, which can damage blood vessels and nerves over time. Insulin rushes in like emergency workers to bring levels down, but in metabolic syndrome, cells respond less and less, a state known as insulin resistance. Imagine emergency vehicles stuck in traffic, sirens blaring, unable to reach the flooded streets in time. The extra inches around your waist are not just passive storage. Visceral fat, the fat deep inside the abdomen, around organs, is especially active. It attracts immune cells that release chemicals called cytokines, which can raise inflammation throughout the body. Studies link high visceral fat to higher risk of heart disease, fatty liver, and type 2 diabetes. The immunity code frames your belly as an immune organ that can switch between angry and peaceful modes. Our journey is about guiding it gently toward peace. Perhaps you followed classic weight loss rules that worked in your 20s. Skip meals, exercise hard, watch the scale drop. But now, with metabolic syndrome, the same approach leaves you exhausted and stuck. The immunity code suggests that as we age, especially after years of stress and processed foods, our internal code changes. Hormones shift, gut microbes reorganize, and immune cells grow less patient. It is like using a password that once opened every door, only to find the locks have quietly changed over time. Hormones are like whispered commands traveling through your bloodstream, telling cells when to store, when to burn, when to rest. In metabolic syndrome, hormones such as insulin, leptin, and cortisol often give mixed or distorted signals. Leptin, made by fat cells, normally tells the brain, "We have enough energy." But with too much fat, the brain can become resistant, and the message no longer registers. It is like a smoke alarm that never stops beeping. Eventually, you stop noticing the sound, even while danger grows. Emotional and physical stress are not just feelings, they are chemistry. Under stress, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, ancient survival hormones meant to help you run from danger. But modern stress, deadlines, bills, lack of sleep, keeps these hormones elevated. Cortisol can raise blood sugar and encourage fat storage around the belly. The immunity code reminds us that stress effectively feeds metabolic syndrome from the inside, even if you are trying to eat better. Calming the mind becomes a metabolic tool, not just a psychological luxury. Many people with metabolic syndrome silently blame themselves for lack of willpower, for lost discipline, for every number on a lab sheet. Yet biology tells a kinder story. Your body has been doing its best to keep you alive in an environment it was never designed for. Constant food, constant sitting, constant alerts. The immunity code encourages a shift from blame to understanding. When you see your symptoms as adaptive responses, not moral failures, you open the door to working with your body rather than against it. Immune cells are not forgetful. Some act like historians, recording what you eat and how often inflammation appears afterward. Over years of processed foods and frequent snacking, they may learn that food equals threat, responding with low-grade chronic inflammation each time you eat. The immunity code suggests that this memory can be updated. By changing what and how we eat, we slowly teach immune cells a different lesson. Food can be safe, nourishing, and calm. It is like rewriting the margins in a very old, very important book. In modern life, many of us eat from the moment we wake until late at night, creating a 16-hour or longer eating window. This gives the body little time to repair. Research suggests that the timing of food can influence insulin, fat storage, and even gut microbes. The immunity code emphasizes not only what you eat, but when. Leaving regular spaces without food, always guided by your physician if you have blood sugar issues, can act like scheduled maintenance for your metabolic engine, allowing it to cool, clean, and recalibrate. Instead of radical overhaul, imagine beginning with a gentle experiment. For example, you might choose one meal each day to make especially kind to your gut and immune system. More fiber, less sugar, fewer ultra-processed ingredients. Or you might shift your last bite of the day a little earlier, so your body rests longer overnight. These shifts, discuss beforehand with your physician if you have metabolic or heart conditions, are not about perfection. They are about sending the first new line of code into a system that is ready to listen. Among all nutrients, fiber is like poetry for your gut microbes. They ferment certain fibers into short-chain fatty acids, tiny molecules that soothe inflammation, help regulate appetite, and may even improve insulin sensitivity. People with metabolic syndrome often consume less fiber than recommended. The immunity code treats specific fibers as targeted messages, telling beneficial bacteria to grow. Each time you add vegetables, beans, or whole grains, you are not just filling your stomach, you are feeding the peacekeepers deep inside your gut forest. Protein is more than muscle food. It also influences satiety and blood sugar. Adequate protein can help you feel fuller and preserve lean mass while you gently reduce excess fat. The immunity code highlights timing and type. Some people may benefit from concentrating more protein earlier in the day alongside fiber to blunt glucose spikes. However, protein needs vary with kidney function, age, and medical history, so it is essential to speak with your physician or dietitian before making big changes to your protein intake. For decades, dietary fat was treated as the main villain, yet science has revealed a more nuanced picture. Certain fats, like those in olive oil, nuts, and fatty fish, can support heart health and reduce inflammation. Others, especially in many ultra-processed snacks, may worsen metabolic markers. The immunity code urges us to think of fats as signals. Some tell cells to become more flexible and resilient, while others encourage them to store and inflame. The goal is not zero fat, but wiser, calmer fat choices. Sugar can feel like a friend when you're tired or stressed. A sweet drink or snack offers fast pleasure, quick energy, and emotional relief. But in metabolic syndrome, the cost is steeper. Frequent sugar intake keeps insulin elevated and trains your taste buds to expect constant sweetness. Over time, more sugar is needed for the same comfort. The immunity code views sugar as code that often writes chaos into your system. Reducing added sugars, step by step, is like steadily turning down the volume on a noisy, draining radio. Ultra-processed foods are engineered to be irresistible. Perfect crunch, perfect sweetness, perfect convenience. Yet their ingredients, refined flours, cheap oils, emulsifiers, and artificial flavors, often confuse gut microbes and immune cells. Studies link high intake to obesity, metabolic syndrome, and cardiovascular disease. The immunity code treats these foods as fake friends. They show up quickly, seem supportive, but leave your biology more chaotic. Choosing simpler, less processed options most of the time reduces the background noise your immune system must struggle against. Your health is not shaped by a single heroic day, but by micro patterns repeated quietly. How often you snack between meals, how late you eat, how many nights you sleep too little. The immunity code emphasizes that your immune system and gut respond most strongly to these small repetitive rhythms. Even with metabolic syndrome, shifting one or two micro patterns, such as adding a fiber-rich snack instead of a sugary one or walking briefly after meals, can send surprisingly loud signals. Small hinges, as they say, can open large doors. Among all lifestyle tools, simple walking may be the most underestimated. Post-meal walks, even for 10 to 15 minutes, help muscles absorb glucose, lowering blood sugar spikes. Studies show that frequent light activity can improve insulin sensitivity and blood pressure. The immunity code frames movement as a way of speaking to your immune system and fat cells. We are safe. We are active. We do not need to hoard energy. Before starting or intensifying an exercise program, especially if you have heart or joint issues, please consult your physician. While you sleep, your body runs a quiet night shift. Hormones balance, immune cells patrol, and brain and liver clear metabolic waste. Short or poor quality sleep is linked to higher hunger hormones, insulin resistance, and weight gain. The immunity code invites you to treat sleep as a core metabolic strategy, not an afterthought. Protecting regular sleep, dark room, consistent times, calm pre-bed routine is like giving your internal operating system the maintenance window it desperately needs. If sleep problems persist, professional medical guidance is important. If stress is a metabolic accelerant, then recovery rituals are your internal fire department. Simple practices, slow breathing, brief meditation, stepping outside into sunlight, or writing a few lines in a journal can lower stress hormones and inflammation over time. The immunity code suggests that these rituals done consistently change your internal code of safety. Your immune system learns that not every alert requires a full alarm. Always remember that severe anxiety or depression deserve compassionate support from healthcare professionals, not silence or self-blame. How you begin your day can echo through your metabolism for hours. Instead of immediately reaching for something sweet or ultra-processed, the immunity code might encourage a gut-friendly start, hydration, gentle movement, and a meal that includes fiber and protein. For some, this may look like oats with nuts and berries, or eggs with vegetables. These choices tell your gut microbes, today we will feed you well. As always, if you have conditions like kidney disease, food allergies, or medication needs, please adjust with your physician's help. By evening, your insulin sensitivity often decreases. Your body prefers rest over processing large, heavy meals. Late-night eating, especially of sugar and refined carbs, can worsen blood sugar and fat storage. The immunity code suggests listening to this natural rhythm. Lighter, earlier dinners when possible, and reducing snacking in the final hours before sleep. Think of it as turning down the city lights so your internal night crew can begin their work. If you use medications that cause low blood sugar, always plan evening changes with your doctor. No two people with metabolic syndrome are identical. Genetics, past diets, medications, and gut microbes all shape how you respond to changes. The immunity code advocates for carefully observing your own responses, energy levels, cravings, waistline, lab results. Small adjustments such as changing breakfast, adjusting meal timing, or increasing fiber can be tested one at a time, like tuning an instrument. Recording your body's signals in a journal and sharing them with your healthcare team can transform you from a passive patient into an active investigator. Inflammation is vital when you are injured or battling infection, but when it lingers at low levels for years, it becomes a slow, invisible fire. This chronic inflammation is closely tied to metabolic syndrome and conditions like atherosclerosis. The immunity code explores how certain foods, gut imbalances, and excess visceral fat stoke this fire, while anti-inflammatory choices, fiber, healthy fats, movement, sleep, help extinguish it. Though you cannot see this flame, your body feels its heat in fatigue, stiffness, and slow recovery. Sometimes, after making changes, lab results improve quietly before you notice dramatic changes in the mirror. Triglycerides may drop, HDL cholesterol may rise, fasting glucose may soften downward. These early shifts are like green shoots appearing in a burned forest. The immunity code encourages celebrating these microscopic victories as real proof that your internal code is rewriting. Ask your physician to help you track patterns over several months. Even if the scale moves slowly, your blood can reveal a hopeful story unfolding inside you. Cravings for sugar, starch, or salty snacks often feel like proof of weakness. But through the immunity code lens, cravings are messages from your gut microbes, hormones, and brain circuits. Certain bacteria may thrive on sugar and encourage you to seek more. Poor sleep or stress may increase hunger hormones. By gently changing what you feed your microbiome and improving your routines, you can shift these messages over time. When a craving appears, you might ask, which part of me is speaking, instead of, what is wrong with me? Almost every healing journey includes plateaus, weeks when your weight, waistline, and energy seem frozen. This can feel deeply discouraging. The immunity code suggests that during a plateau, your body may be recalibrating, adjusting hormones, shifting gut populations, healing tissues. Progress is happening beneath the surface. Keeping one or two core habits steady, like your evening eating window or daily walk, tells your body, yes, this is the new normal. Sharing plateaus with your physician can also reveal whether medication adjustments or new strategies are needed. Meals with friends and family are part of emotional health, yet they can feel like traps when you are managing metabolic syndrome. The immunity code approach is not about isolation or perfection, but strategy. You might eat a fiber-rich snack before a gathering, so you are less vulnerable to cravings, or decide in advance which foods you will enjoy and which you will leave. Communicating your goals gently with loved ones can turn them into allies. Shared laughter, after all, is also medicine for inflammation and stress. Aging with metabolic syndrome can feel like sliding down a slope toward inevitable decline, yet research shows that even in later decades, improving metabolic health can lower risks of cardiovascular events, dementia, and disability. The immunity code offers a hopeful view. Your immune system and microbiome remain adaptable far longer than we once believed. Each better choice begun now can brighten the years ahead. You may not control every outcome, but you can influence your trajectory like gently steering a ship toward calmer waters. Imagine someone much like you, same waist measurement, same lab results, same quiet worries. Over 6 months, they made 3 core changes inspired by the immunity code, adding fiber at breakfast, walking after dinner, and protecting their sleep. Their weight dropped modestly, but triglycerides fell significantly, waist size shrank, and they reported less brain fog. This is not a miracle or guarantee. Every body is unique, yet such stories show that even small, steady changes in your code can ripple into meaningful shifts in health. There will be days when fatigue, cravings, or discouraging news make you wonder, why bother? On those days, remember that your immune system listens not only to what you eat, but also to how you speak to yourself. Harsh self-talk reinforces stress chemistry. Gentler words ease it. The immunity code journey is not a straight line. It is a spiral in which you revisit old habits with new understanding. Reaching out to your physician, a counselor, or a support group can be a powerful act of metabolic self-defense. As you listen to these ideas, notice which ones tug at you. Is it fatigue after meals, stubborn belly fat, restless sleep, or constant stress? These clues point to your unique priorities. The immunity code is not a one-size diet, but a framework for customizing, stabilizing blood sugar, calming inflammation, nurturing your gut, and protecting your sleep. Together with your physician, you can translate this into a simple plan. Perhaps one habit for food, one for movement, one for stress, and one for rest, to begin rewriting your internal code. In metabolic syndrome, focusing only on the scale can hide important victories. Better energy, less afternoon sleepiness, easier breathing when climbing stairs, reduced cravings, improved labs. These are profound signs your code is changing. The immunity code encourages widening your definition of success to include these invisible wins. When you celebrate them, you reinforce the new behaviors that created them. Rather than asking, how much weight did I lose this week? You might ask, where did I feel slightly more alive? Imagine meeting your future self 5 or 10 years from now. Perhaps they have steadier energy, better mobility, and quieter lab reports. Their heart, liver, and brain all benefited from choices you made today. The immunity code philosophy often asks, what message are you sending forward through time with each habit? Even tiny actions, like choosing water over soda once, or walking for 10 minutes tonight, can be gifts to that future you. You are not just managing symptoms, you are shaping the quality of your coming years. Your physician is a crucial ally in managing metabolic syndrome, yet appointments can feel rushed or intimidating. Preparing a simple list of questions grounded in the immunity code ideas can help. How are my triglycerides and waist size trending? Is it safe for me to try a slightly shorter eating window or new exercise? How should we monitor these changes? Bringing notes about your habits and symptoms transforms the visit into a partnership. Remember, never make major changes to medications or diet without professional guidance. The spaces you live and work in constantly send signals to your biology. A kitchen counter filled with pastries invites one type of code, a bowl of fruit invites another. A living room oriented only around a TV encourages sitting. A visible pair of walking shoes by the door suggests movement. The immunity code idea extends beyond food to environment. By shaping your surroundings, you reduce the need for willpower. Consider one small environmental tweak you can make this week to nudge your metabolism toward calm and health. We have traveled from belly fat to gut microbes, from stress hormones to sleep. A quiet but powerful realization emerges. Your body is not a fixed machine broken beyond repair. It is a programmable system that has been faithfully responding to its environment. The immunity code invites you to become the author of that program. With metabolic syndrome, the stakes are real: heart, brain, kidneys, but so is your capacity to influence them. Even if you feel far from your goals, every aligned choice is a line of healing code. Inspired by the immunity code, imagine a simple daily framework. 1. Start your morning by hydrating and feeding your gut with fiber and some protein. 2. Include at least one brief walk after a main meal. 3. Create a small stress release ritual. 4. Protect your sleep window as much as you reasonably can. These are not rigid rules, but guiding stars. Before adopting such a framework, especially if you have complex medical conditions, share it with your physician so it can be adapted safely for you. Pause for a moment and imagine choosing one small change from everything you have heard. Perhaps replacing one sugary drink with water, taking a 10-minute walk tonight, or moving dinner 30 minutes earlier. How would tomorrow feel if you began today? The immunity code is not asking for perfection, but for a beginning. In the face of metabolic syndrome, starting now, no matter how small, sends a clear message to your immune system, your gut, and your future self. We are choosing a different path. Metabolic syndrome often begins in fear. Fear of heart attacks, strokes, medications, and aging. As you understand the code beneath your symptoms, fear can slowly transform into partnership. Your body is not your enemy. It is your oldest collaborator, trying to adjust to a demanding world. The immunity code simply offers more precise instructions for that collaboration. As you move forward, may you speak to your body with respect, trade punishment for curiosity, and trust that even small steps can create real, measurable change. When this video ends, the most important moment begins: your next choice. Perhaps it is scheduling a checkup, writing down your current medications and habits, or simply pouring a glass of water instead of something sugary. Consider jotting down one insight from this video and one question to ask your physician. Transformation in metabolic syndrome does not happen in a single day, but it always begins with a clear, gentle intention. Allow yourself to feel a quiet pride for seeking understanding and change. If this exploration of the immunity code has helped you see metabolic syndrome with new eyes, please treat this moment as a beginning, not an ending. Remember to consult your physician before changing food, exercise, or medications, and to invite their guidance into your plan. If you would like more science-based, compassionate content to support your journey, please subscribe to this channel, click like, and share this video with someone who may need hope. Together, let us learn to gently, bravely rewrite the code of our health. The